Hello mga students, good morning, good afternoon, good evening sa inyong lahat. Pag-usapan po natin sa recording na ito, yung auditing the investment cycle. So basically, what we will do in this recording is to discuss the risk assessment and then eventually the risk response. So pag ang pinag-uusapan po natin ay auditing cycle, this is not limited to a particular account. So this will involve not one, not twice, but multiple accounts that affects yung ating investing transactions. Okay. Ito pag sinabi po natin investing cycle, binubuo po nito yung mga proseso, okay? Processes, procedures, and policies in authorizing and then executing and of course the recording of transactions involving acquisition and disposition of long-term assets. So investment in securities, long-term property and equipment, natural resources, intangible assets, non-trade loans, and investment property. Okay, so marami-rami po ito. Now, when we audit the investing cycle, we should follow the following, or we should consider the following activities. Number one, we have as auditors, we need to identify, okay, the activities and the types of transactions that occur in a company's investing cycle. Kailangan po nating maintindihan, for that particular audit client, ano-ano yung mga klase ng mga transactions that affect their investing cycle. And of course, we have to consider the related internal control. Okay? So relate the internal accounting control objectives to investing activities. And then determine ano-ano yung mga essential features ng kanilang internal control over these transactions. And if needed, perform compliance tests of controls over these transactions. Although later on, we have a short discussion while TOC is tested, pero for cost benefit consideration, this may be baka kailangan ni auditor i-forgo ito, not because the entity's internal control is weak or absent yung internal control, but more of cost benefit consideration. Kasi pag pinag-uusapan po natin yung mga accounts affecting the investing cycle, medyo kokonti lamang po yung mga transactions dito. Okay. But if needed, especially for for entities, for clients na marami-rami yung kanilang mga investments, okay, edi kailangan natin mag-perform ng test of controls if we have to rely on these controls. After we evaluate the effectiveness of the internal control, we perform substantive audit procedures, of course, to determine whether the FS assertions are materially correct on the accounts affected by the investing cycle. And, hindi po ito desing kundi design baligtad. Design TOD, test of details of account balances, and analytical procedures to satisfy related audit objectives. Okay. So, alam naman po natin that when we perform audit, we have to assess the risk of material misstatements. So, as auditors, we need to obtain information useful in our assessment of ROM. Ano yung mga inherent risk at the financial statement level, at the account and assertions level. Okay? Once we identify the risk of material misstatements or yung ROM, si auditor, will have to determine paano po tayo magre-respond as part of the audit opinion formulation process. So we assess the risk so that we'll be able to respond accordingly. Kasi yung mga audit procedures na ginagawa ng mga auditors ay nakadepende sa kanilang assessment ng risk. If high risk kasi yung mga accounts, mas may focus po sila doon as when you compare it to low risk accounts. Okay. So let us discuss what are the inherent risks associated with PPE or property and equipment or property, plant and equipment. Pag pinag-uusapan po natin itong fixed asset na ito, items of PPE under PAS 16, there is an involved management estimation. Kasi syempre, gaano katagal natin magagamit yung PPE. So we estimate the useful life, and then we also estimate at the end of the useful life, may value pa ba ito? Yung tinatawag natin na residual or salvage or scrap value. And then, periodically, we have to assess the asset in case merong impairment. So there is an involved estimation. What other inherent risks are associated with PPE? Oh, when we dispose the asset, baka incomplete yung recording natin. Or baka mali pa nga, na baka hindi rin natin na-assess na obsolete na pala yung mga assets. Of course, this is related to impairment assessment, di ba? Baka kasi meron tayong mga PPE na obsolete na because of improvement, advancement in technology. So yung asset na ginagamit ng company for some time now, hindi na mapapakinabangan kasi may mga bago ng mga technological advancement. Okay, another one. Incorrect recording due to complex ownership structures. Okay? Siyempre, no, when the entity is met with complexity, mas risky. Okay? So, ownership structure ng items of PPE, pag complex yung ownership, hindi lamang halimbawa, co-own sila or owned, so papaano ang gagawin natin dyan? Okay. Amortization of depreciable schedules that do not reflect economic impairment or use of the asset. Baka mamaya hindi tumutugma yung mga depreciation methods na ginagamit natin doon sa kung papaano man yung economic use ng asset na yon. Okay? Please take note that as auditors, you will become aware of this risk through what? Siyempre, when you understand the client's business, hindi mas makakapag-respond ka accordingly. Siyempre, when you understand the client, you include industry trends, technological advancements that may affect that company. And of course, you review various documents. So you obtain knowledge about the client and you review documents such as yung mga business plans for possible expansion, additional acquisitions of, let's say, heavy equipment. Okay, contracts like, halimbawa, lease contracts, minutes of meetings with the board of director, and probably mga SEC filings. Okay? So in that way, we'll be able to have an understanding of what's going on with the company. Okay. Ano naman po ang inherent risk associated with natural resources? Of course, we have a separate standard that discusses, that covers wasting assets. No? So for natural resources, ganun din po. Maraming difficulty dyan. Like for example, how should we, or what are the items that we consider as part of the cost associated with discovering natural resources? From an intermediate accounting point of view or from FAR point of view, sometimes it becomes tricky because meron tayong items na hindi naman dapat under the PFRS 6 ba, if I'm not mistaken. However, it should be applied under IAS 16. Okay? So, yung difficulty ng pag-identify ng cost kasi syempre specialized yung nature nito. When we talk about natural resources, the entity's business operations is into mining, exploration, ng mga mineral resources. Okay? Difficulty estimating the amount of commercial when you extract natural resources, mga halimbawa, mga diamante, mga ginto, or kung anumang mga precious minerals, how do you estimate the amount of commercially available resources? Ano ang magiging basis mo dyan? And sometimes, there is a great deal of estimation that is going on para lang ma-determine yung deposit, halimbawa, or deposit gaano kadami. Okay? So, kasi syempre, that is also the basis of computing for the depletion. So, yung depletion rate, usually we use the units of production. Pero ano yung depletable amount? Okay? And of course, yung difficulty in estimating reclamation cost. Sir, ano yung reclamation cost? O, ito yung ating mga asset retirement obligation. Okay, yung mga restoration cost. Kasi usually in the mining industry, once you are done with the exploration, yung mga paghuhukay ng mga bundok, assuming na okay, na discover or na extract mo na lahat ng mga mineral resources, yung mga natural resources, kailangang ibalik mo yan, i-restore mo yan, to the original condition after you, o before you extracted the resources. So, hindi pa pwede na hayaan mo lang na mayroong hukay, malalim na hukay sa kabundukan. So, if you are done, i-restore mo yan sa original. Of course, hindi mo na maibabalik yung original, but you have an obligation para i-restore ito, no? Okay? So, meron tayo mga estimation on the cost because of course, that is part of the capitalizable cost. Okay. Ano naman po ang inherent risks associated with intangible assets? Of course, yung cost determination ay hindi po straightforward, hindi kagaya ng mga tangible assets. Kasi pag intangible assets, walang physical substance, hindi mo nahahawakan. Okay? So how do you determine the cost? Especially some intangible assets are internally developed. Yung problem with identifying development cost. And pag na-identify mo yung development cost, na-meet ba yung yung criteria for capitalization? Kasi hindi naman porket na-identify mo yung research from yung development sa research phase, automatically we capitalize the accounts or kung ano man yung cost natin doon. So there is a great deal of there is also a difficulty in determining the cost. Okay. So ayan po now let us move on to identifying fraud risk factors. Para kasing nabitin ako dito, akala ko meron pang iba, no? Sorry. Okay. Now, let us proceed in the identification of fraud risk factors. Ano-ano po ang mga fraud risk factors natin in auditing the investing cycle? Ang concern po natin, kasi syempre mga long-term assets ang pinag-uusapan natin dito, baka kasi ma-misstate yung financial statements. Okay? Fraudulently, ibig sabihin may pananadya, merong intentional na manipulation ng financial statements para i-overstate mo yung assets. So, syempre, paano mo i-overstate yung asset? Baka meron kang mga expenses na hindi naman dapat kinakapitalize pero kinakapitalize mo. Therefore, you are overvaluing existing assets. You are recording fictitious acquisitions, no? You are capitalizing expenses na dapat, halimbawa, for repairs and maintenance. The following are other potential fraud schemes relating to long-lived assets. Nagbenta ka, mayroon kang dinispose na asset, pero yung proceeds, minisappropriate mo, yung sale, hindi mo na-record. Nagbenta ka, dinispose mo siya, hindi mo naman tinanggal sa libro yung asset na dinispose mo. Of course, nag-estimate po tayo like yung residual value o yung useful life, yung ating estimation is inappropriate. So, mali-mali yung residual value or yung useful life na ginagamit natin. Therefore, it will affect the computation of your depreciation. As to intangible assets, mali din yung calculation ng iyong amortization. Okay? Yung expenses, improperly capitalized. For items of PPE like repairs and maintenance, na-capitalize. Mga subsequent expenditures na hindi naman nag-improve sa asset, more of yung repairs lang talaga pero kinapitalize mo. Pagdating sa intangibles, it should, halimbawa, research and development cost, kinapitalize mo. Or development cost nga pero kinapitalize mo na hindi pa naman nasa-satisfy yung capitalization criteria. O kaya naman, na-satisfy mo na yung capitalization criteria pero lumagpas ka na doon sa commercial production. E di dapat inventoriable yung cost na yon and not capitalizable as intangibles. Okay? Impairment losses are recognized pero hindi naman dapat nire-recognize. So syempre, it will affect the recoverable amount or the net book value of these long-lived assets. No? And in cases where we have to estimate the fair value, halimbawa, yung ating mga investment properties that are measured applying the fair value model, mali-mali or unreasonable or unsupportable yung estimation ng fair value. Of course, no, when you estimate the fair value and the estimation is unreasonable, this will impact your asset kasi syempre kinakapitalize natin yung increase or kung may decrease, syempre mababawasan yung halaga ng ating investment. Okay? So, let us talk about control risks no, in auditing the investing cycle. Syempre, risks no, with relation to the controls that are in place. Okay? Yung risk na walang internal control, ganun ba? No? Si client or yung control ay mahina. So, typical controls that affect, I'm not sure if effect ba dapat yan or affect multiple assertions for long-lived assets include dapat meron tayong formal budgeting process. So dito meron tayong tinatawag na capital budgeting no? With of course appropriate follow-up variance analysis. Nagbabudget tayo pero wala kang follow-through, wala kang variance analysis, actual versus budget, para saan pa na meron kang budgeting process. There should be a written policy for the acquisition and the disposal of long-lived assets, including required approvals. Na syempre, meron kang polisiya, meron kang approval process na dapat naka-inject siya doon. Limited access, no? Terms of the access, okay? Limited yung access sa physical assets where appropriate, no? Limited lamang doon sa mga tao na walang issue on, syempre, with proper segregation of duties, na periodic comparison ng physical assets to subsidiary records, kung tumutugma sila, at dapat tumutugma sila, no? And then, periodic reconciliation ng SL sa GL. Okay. So, hindi lamang po yung asset sa libro, kung hindi, yung libro sa libro, SL, GL. Okay. Ito yung mga controls dapat na ginagawa ng isang audit client, no? In relation to assertions on existence or occurrence and valuation for tangible assets. So usually atong mga property and equipment. Dapat may control si entity sa pag-identify ng mga existing assets. Dapat meron silang process of listing all the physical assets, no? Ini-inventaryo sila. Pag sinabi po nating inventory them, we are not talking literally of merchandise inventory or inventory under past due, but yung accounting for the physical assets, for these tangible assets. And reconciling the physical asset inventory with what's in the book, okay? On a periodic basis. So we are talking about existence. No? And usually what we do is the entity should use serial numbered asset tags. No? May tagging ng mga, halimbawa, electric fan man yan or aircon or laptop man yan, dapat may mga asset tags naka-identify ano para ibig sabihin lang na yan pag merong tagging yan ay kasama yan at nakalista dapat yan ano. Provide reasonable assurance that all purchases are authorized. So meron tayong proper authorization and then properly valued no for valuation assertion. Actually yung mga remaining dito is more of valuation no. Appropriately classify yung classification ng new equipment according to its expected use and the estimated useful life, valuation pa rin. Kasi computation ng depreciation yung affected nito. Periodically reassess the appropriateness of depreciation categories. Baka mamaya merong change in economic circumstances affecting the computation of your depreciation. Identify obsolete or scrapped equipment. And write the equipment down to scrap value. Impairment assessment ng ating mga fixed assets. Review management strategy and systematically assess the impairment of assets. No? Again, impairment assessment, but it has something to do with reviewing of the management strategy. Ang kagandahan yan kapag mga multinational corporations yung ini-audit natin, okay, usually they have an internal auditing committee or meron silang group ng internal audit na gumagawa ng mga ito. And as auditors, we have to review the work of these experts. Okay? Systematic process to identify assets that are not currently in use. Baka meron tayong mga idle equipments or idle machineries or kung ano mang property and equipment. So, paano ba natin ina-identify yung mga property and equipment or yung mga tangible assets na hindi ginagamit sa ngayon or temporarily naka-hold? Okay, projection of future cash flows by reporting unit that is based on management strategic plans and economic conditions. So while etong mga tangible assets na ito ay ginagamit usually sa operations, okay, pero we have to project, we have to estimate future cash flows na yung pakinabang ng entities. Kasi for big companies, they have to estimate kailan yung balik sa kanila ng investment nito. Return on investment, okay, yung ROI nitong mga properties na ito. And systematic development of current market values of similar assets prepared by the client. Okay? While, limbawa, for items of PPE and even investment properties, even ang ating intangible assets, no? If the entity is using the cost model, kailangan pa rin naman sa disclosure yung fair value, yung mga current market values. Okay. Ito naman po yung mga controls related to valuation and of course yung presentation and disclosure for intangible assets naman. So dapat merong dinidevelop na amortization schedules si entity that reflect the remaining useful life. Halimbawa, for patents or copyrights or yung mga intangible assets na finite, yung kanilang useful life. For proper valuation, kasi syempre, cost less accumulated amortization. Okay? Identify and account for intangible assets impairment and accumulated impairment losses. At dapat merong appropriate, quote-unquote, appropriate guidelines in capitalizing development cost. Dapat nasa-satisfy nito yung requirement ng standard doon sa capitalization criteria. So, may policy, may sistema dapat na ginagawa yung entity para mas mabilis yung assessment ng capitalization for development cost. Sometimes, if the entity has an accounting system, the accounting system is really a great help para ma-simplify yung assessment. Kasi syempre, it involves judgment in identifying na-satisfy, na-meet ba lahat ng mga capitalization criteria na yon. Okay. Ito naman po, yung mga controls over natural resources. Although, hindi na-specify anong assertion ang kino-cover nito. Medyo, sabi nga natin, complicated yung accounting for natural resources kasi syempre, there is a great length of estimation for the reserves. Okay? So, kadalasan, karamihan sa mga companies na engage in mining activities ay may na-develop yan na procedures and appropriate control sa pag-identify ng cost. Kasi syempre, hindi naman biro, yung halaga na i-invest nila sa paghuhukay ng mga bundok para makapaghanap ng mga ginto, ng mga diamante or kung anumang mga precious resources. So yung funding nila doon ay malaki, hindi dapat sa accounting pa lang at saka controls, meron na silang investment. And then when estimating yung available reserves, so gumagamit sila usually ng mga geologists, ng mga scientists para ma-estimate with great deal yung availability ng mga reserves, ng mga deposits kung meron silang na-discover. And then, syempre, periodic assessment ng halaga ng mga reserves or yung amount ng reserves na available as the entity is performing exploration Actually, hindi na pala exploration, but extraction activities. Okay, the harvesting or extracting of precious resources. Okay, now, auditors perform preliminary analytical procedures when planning the audit because these procedures help auditors identify areas of potential misstatements. So when you perform the audit planning, no, meron kang mga preliminary analytical procedures para makatulong na makapag-identify ng areas ng potential misstatements. So syempre, analytical procedures pinag-uusapan natin dito, we usually deal with ratio and trend analysis. So kung pinag-uusapan natin mga fixed assets, we perform an overall estimate of depreciation expense based on assumptions that we have, no, that is made available to us based on the understanding of the client, no. Review and analyze gains or losses on disposal of equipment. We compare the depreciable lives na ginagamit ni client for various asset categories with those of the industry. Okay, syempre we benchmark it with other competitors, with other other companies of the same industry. Kasi kung merong malaking difference, bakit? It may indicate earnings management. Baka merong ginagawa doon sa earnings, no? May ginagawa sila sa loob to manage yung kanilang earnings. Okay. We also have to compare the asset, and the related expense accounts, current period, compare it with prior period in the last year audit, and determine whether the amounts are reasonable. Same range ba ito or biglang nagbago significantly? Bakit nagbago? Baka merong changes in operations that affect these accounts. We compare capital expenditures with the budget of the client kasi syempre capital budgeting, pinagpaplanuhan po ito ng mga nasa kataas-taasan sa kanilang mga strategic planning. Okay? Kasi hindi nga po ito basta-basta ina-acquire on the spot. So may long-term planning, no, na nagawa prior to the acquisition, prior to capital expenditure. So we compare capital expenditure with the client's capital budget with an expectation that capital expenditures would be consistent with the capital budget. Kasi kung masyadong malayo yan, either hindi yan papayagan kasi meron tayong budget eh. Pero kung tolerable naman, edi baka pwedeng i-allow. Pero comparison. Okay? Kasi meron tayong expectation dito. Okay, what else? When planning the auditor, ito pa, no, yung mga ratios that the auditor should plan and review after makadevelop ng mga independent expectation. Ratio ng depreciation expense to total depreciable long-lived assets, and the ratio of repairs and maintenance account to total depreciable long-lived assets. That is commonly done for items of property and equipment, depreciation and repairs. Okay, please take note of the following. If preliminary analytical procedures do not identify any unexpected relationship, okay, therefore we can conclude that there is no heightened risk of material misstatements in these accounts. And of course, this will affect, sige, number 2 muna. Kasi kung meron tayong mga unusual or unexpected relationship na madidiscover, maapektuhan po nito ang iyong audit procedures as to the test of controls and the substantive testing. We have to adjust para ma-address itong mga potential material misstatements. Okay? So, we have discussed the risk assessments, inherent risk, control risk. Let us proceed with risk response, no? Para naman ma-minimize natin yung detection risk. Okay, responding to identified risks typically involves developing an audit approach. Definitely. Sa pagpa-perform mo ng mga audit procedure, sa pagpaplano mo, ano-ano mga gagawin mo. Okay? Siyempre, you have test of details and as appropriate, yung substantive analytical procedures and as applicable, kung kailangan natin mag-perform ng test of controls, ano ba yung overall audit approach mo? or particular to this investing cycle. Generally, usually, we assess the audit risk in the investing cycle as low level because yung mga transactions occur infrequently. Bibihira lang naman yan eh. Hindi naman yan kagaya ng pagbili ng mga supplies or inventory na paulit-ulit mong ginagawa, no, multiple times a year. And then effective controls can be maintained at a relatively little cost. And auditor can obtain evidential matter daw from independent sources outside the entity. And of course, sources outside is more reliable than sources obtained inside. Baka kasi pag inside merong manipulation, baka merong itinatago. If you can acquire direct personal knowledge concerning the balances, halimbawa, confirmation of balances is more reliable than recomputation. Okay? So usually, we assess the audit risk at a low level. In evaluating and obtaining evidence about internal control effectiveness dito sa investing cycle, okay, let us discuss yung existence or occurrence and rights and obligations. Sa pagbili at pagbebenta ng mga PPE, securities, intangibles, dapat these are made in accordance with management authorization. Dapat meron tayong formal authorization process. For dividends and interests, like for investment in securities, dapat kung merong mga collections, from investment and interest income, it should be deposited intact, pagka-kolekta, deposit ka agad, following your imprest system, di ba? Yung access natin sa PPE, securities, intangibles, dapat meron tayong restriction. Only authorized personnel can access this items, this PPE, securities, or intangibles. Recorded balances are compared with existing assets at reasonable interval to check if andyan pa ba yung mga yan, Okay, as to valuation, completeness, and classification, yung transactions and events, dapat they are correctly recorded, hindi lamang po sa amount, but doon sa proper classification. Siyempre, these should be classified as non-current, and in the correct accounting period. Okay? Cut off then, Transactions are promptly and correctly posted to individual investment accounts. Baka mamaya, mamali ng lagay. Sabihin na natin, investment account nga. Investment and security, pero nagawang investment property, di mali pa rin. Okay, so proper classification pa rin. Okay, what else? Ito naman po yung mga internal control over investments, Sa pagbili at pagbenta ng mga investments, dapat proper yung authorization. So, management authorization pa rin. Ganun din po, yung access to securities. Hindi dapat ito pinapatong sa isang tao lamang, Kasi papaano kung may something, dito sa isang tao na ito, yari ka na. So, access should be given to different persons as much as possible in the event that one person goes offline or naging part ito ng mga fraudulent schemes. Yung custodian set ng investment securities. By the way, when we talk of internal control over investment, we are referring to investment in securities. Kaya dito makikita po ninyo, custodianship of investment securities and the accounting for the securities should be separate. Okay, segregation of duties. Hindi dapat natin pinagsasama sa isang role yung conflicting yung trabaho. Securities must be physically controlled in order to prevent unauthorized usage, and they must be registered in the name of the owner. And syempre, dahil investments po ito, meron tayong revenues na makukuha dito, dividend, okay, or interest, kasi maaaring investment in equities or investment in bonds. So, pwedeng dividend, pwedeng interest, So, periodically should be reconciled with the amounts na matatanggap. Okay? So, yan po yung mga internal controls over investment. Now, let me show you the ICW or yung internal control weaknesses or factors that increase the risk of misstatement. Ano yung mga examples na yon and the description of possible errors or misstatements. Una, kung inadequate yung accounting manual, wala kang formal procedures na kulang-kulang, hindi sapat, tapos incompetent yung mga accounting personnel, malamang no, yung recording ng mga changes in the market value, mali-mali yan. Or baka hindi may record. O syempre, meron tayong mga derivatives no, following IFRS 9. So, kung incompetent yung accounting personnel, wala siyang prior comprehensive experience in handling derivatives, mamamali. It's either na fail na i-record or mali yung recording. So, misstatement of recorded value of investment and incomplete recording of investment. So, either mali or kulang, but in any case, it's misstatement. Okay? What else? Ito pa, no? May board of directors, may audit committee ka, or meron kang internal audit function pero ineffective. Yung top management, okay, yung action nila ay hindi conducive to ethical conduct. If you remember, sa ating COSO framework, we have your control environment. Okay, the tone at the top. If they are not conducting ethically, definitely it has an effect in the culture of the employees. There is undue pressure to meet earnings target. Kaya pala. Kaya ganun yung mga action nila. They are also affected with may pressure sa kanila sa dapat mataas yung earnings nila kasi it may affect their bonuses, for example. So, merong misstatement sa value ng mga held investments at maaring mag-record sila ng mga fictitious securities. Therefore, merong misstatement tayo sa recorded value ng investments. Okay. Merong inadequate na segregation of duties on keeping for and custody of securities. So, issue natin dito, weakness natin is segregation of duties. So, anong example ng fraud or error? An employee with access to securities converts them for personal use. By the way, we are talking about investments dito in securities. So, may unauthorized investment transactions. Okay? Kasi nga, merong SOD tayo issue. Okay. Let us discuss the internal controls over property and equipment. Pag merong mga acquisitions, merong mga disposal, dapat, again, paulit-ulit po tayo dito, pero wag po sana kayong magsawa dahil kailangan po ninyo yung matandaan, tumatak sa inyong mga kokote, proper authorization, management approval, okay? Approval by the board of director or executive committee or kung sino man yung person in charge. Okay? May clearly defined sound policy for differentiation of capital and revenue expenditure. Okay? Kailan natin kinakapitalize? Kailan natin ina-expense? Okay? So, dapat merong policy dyan. Kasi kailangan ng guidelines, kailangan ng procedures, Kasi that serves as a guidance, Especially when employees are new to their position, hindi pa sila familiar sa pasikot-sikot sa company dahil bago pa lang sila. So mahalaga na meron tayong polisiya. The cost of constructed fixed assets for constructed self-constructed assets. Okay? Dapat kontrolado po ito through work orders. If you recall your conversion cycle, para doon sa mga kino-construct or undergoing yung production or manufacturing, Similar, meron dapat work order pagdating sa pag-construct ng mga fixed assets. Yung control account natin for property and equipment, dapat supported yan ng detailed listing. Detailed plant records. There should be a physical inspection ng property and equipment para kung merong mga discrepancies na ma-identify, it should be investigated. Now, as to insurance, kasi kalakip ng mga long-term assets, like for building, dapat meron kang property insurance dyan. In case magkasunog, magkaroon ng mga nakawan or kung ano man, okay, di dapat merong insurance policy. And as auditors, whether internal or external, there should be a periodic review on the adequacy of insurance. Kasi we cannot really say kailan mangyayari yung mga sakuna. Okay, mga accidents or kung ano man. So dapat meron tayong support doon. Okay? By way of insurance claims. Dapat reasonable yung depreciation policy and it should be applied consistently. Okay? Fully depreciated assets pero ginagamit pa, dapat meron tayong proper classification. Kasi hindi porket na depreciate mo na fully yung asset ay hindi mo na siya gagamitin. You can still use it but tigil na yung depreciation. Dapat we can identify them separately. Yung mga tools, small tools, it should be properly safeguarded and kept in specific locations. Kasi unlike machineries, mga service vehicle, building, plant, or kung ano man, itong mga tools na ito, madali din itong manakaw. Lalong-lalo na kung it can be hand-carried, no? Pwedeng maitago. Tapos mamahalin yan. So may proper safeguarding dapat tayo, no? Limited access. Okay? Ito naman po, ang mga ICW and then the related examples on fraud or error affecting your property and equipment. Kung inadequate yung accounting manual at saka incompetent yung mga accounting personnel, baka mali-mali yung pagbili ng equipment. May binili ka nga pero na-report sa maintenance and repairs accounts or R&M, repairs and maintenance. But nauna yung maintenance. Okay? Again, recorded. Halimbawa, nag-dispose ka or merong swap, may trade-in. Again, recorded on an exchange of non-monetary asset that lacks commercial substance. Okay? So, maaaring magkaroon tayo ng misstatements, acquisition, or improper reporting of unusual transactions. Okay? Inadequate accounting policies naman. Halimbawa, wala kang ginagawang mga work orders, no? Kasi nga, wala naman sa accounting policy, walang nasusulat. So, an asset that has been replaced is discarded due to its lack of value without any accounting entry. O kaya nga, later on, na-discover ni auditor, bakit nandirito pa sa libro, pero nung trinace ko, list to floor, no, existence, missing. Okay? Kasi hindi siya na-dispose, hindi siya na-recognize, pero nawawala na. Napalitan na or dinispose na talaga siya. Kasi po, nakakalimutan i-record yung retirement or yung disposal ng PPE. There is also an effect ng undue pressure to meet earnings target. Kasi syempre, yung mga expenditures mo for repairs and maintenance, okay, kinakapitalize mo para lang lumobo yung income mo. Tandaan po natin, earnings management, as much as possible, if you want better, mas mataas yung earnings mo, mas mataas yung bottom figure mo. Ano bang expenses related sa property and equipment? Repairs and maintenance, even depreciation. So for repairs and maintenance, kinapitalize mo para malaki pa rin yung revenue mo or yung net profit. Hindi mo din-depreciate or ang ginawa mo, maliit yung depreciation para lang at least malaki-laki yung net profit or yung net income. So, misstatement of acquisitions of PPE for repairs and maintenance, halimbawa. Okay? Next, internal control over intangible assets. So, similar to fixed assets, for tangible assets, yung pagbili, acquisitions, additions, amortization, write-off, even disposal, it should be properly authorized. Meron dapat tayong disposal request form dyan. Adequacy and consistency of accounting policies. So, dapat merong accounting policies in place and they are applied consistently. Okay, and of course, there should be a monitoring, may review na ginagawa dyan periodically. GL should be reconciled with SL with the detailed listings. Okay? The schedule ng intangibles showing their cost and basis of amortization. Yung mga lapsing schedule nila should be prepared periodically and reviewed by a responsible official. Kahit na yung official na yun ay hindi responsible. Char. Okay. So, how about the TOC and STT? Test of controls and substantive test of transactions. Yung TOC ni auditor is limited. Sabi nga natin, due to usually relatively small number of transactions. that involves the accounts na kumukover dito sa investing cycle. So, as mentioned earlier, based on cost-benefit consideration rather than the absence or weakness of internal control, si auditor maaring dumiretso na sa substantive test of PPE instead na mag-TOC ka pa. Okay? Unless si client natin may extensive portfolio. Okay? May investment portfolio siya at napakarami ng mga transactions and therefore hindi mo basta-basta i-let go yung test of control. So, the auditor may decide to complete his review of IC and perform compliance TOC kung if you are planning to rely on some of the controls that you deem effective. So, yung assessment ni auditor ng control risk ay influenced by the result of test of transactions for the expenditure and cash disbursement cycle. So, affected ng ibang mga cycles. Okay? So, the following are illustrative audit program for TOC and substantive test of transactions. Okay, number 1. You can trace transactions for purchases and sales of PPE, securities, and intangible assets through the system. So, dapat nasa system yan, nakalag yan, dapat accounted for. If merong internal auditor si client, review the work of these experts na yung report na ginawa ng mga internal auditor on their periodic inspection ng mga items na ito, PPE, securities, intangibles. Review yung monthly reports ni client on securities owned, purchased, sold, revenue earned. Review significant changes in the composition of PPE kung merong movement, and then kung merong ginamit na pangsangla sa mga utang na inavail sa mga entities, sa mga financial institutions. For investment properties, review rental revenue from land, building, and even for equipment. Although, syempre, land and building held for rental ay under PAS 40, samantalang yung equipment ay na ginagamit rental to others is still under the scope of PAS 16 or IAS 16. Okay? Examine lease agreements on PPE na pinapalis, lease to or leased from others. If the client has a large number of lease agreements, mas maganda kung mayroong software na ginagamit si auditor in identifying lease provisions that may affect accounting or disclosure related to the agreements. So dito papasok yung usefulness ng mga technology, even yung integration ng AI sa mga accounting software. Kasi imbis na magbasa ka ng mga kontrata, papaano kung pagkadami-dami niyan, ubos yung oras mo. Kung meron tayong audit software that can summarize, that can identify list provisions that may be helpful in identifying the appropriate accounting treatments or appropriate accounting disclosures, edi malaking bagay yun. Okay? So, yan po hanggang dyan lamang yung ating discussion in the audit of the investing cycle, affecting not only PPE but investment properties, intangibles, even investment in securities. So let me know if you have any questions. I will now end our recording. Maraming salamat sa pakikinig.